Hello friends, it's me and today let's watch Why is Matcha Everywhere from the food theorists. Together, let's go. Let's start. Thank you.
Why is matcha everywhere? Is it just me or is everything suddenly green? Coffee shops? Green. Bakeries? Green. Skincare? Pokemon? Somehow matcha has gone from a niche tea ceremony ingredient to a full-blown lifestyle. It's not just a drink anymore. It's a donut. It's a lemonade. It's a lip balm. It's a personality. But what even is matcha? Why is it everywhere? And what are we screwing up in the process? Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory, the channel that nothing else is a match for. We're talking.
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory. Look, I recognize that good matcha is good for you, but too much of anything is bad. Like too much of anything is very bad for your body. The dose makes the poison.
About matcha today. It's everywhere. Everyone is obsessed with matcha. I see it all over social media. It's become a core item at coffee shops across the globe. Trader Joe's has a matcha lemonade. Bakeries and ice cream shops have all joined in on the matcha craze. Matcha is being used
It's a craze, it's a hype, but too much matcha is poisonous. Like too much. You get hospitalized because of it. Yeah.
in cosmetics. There's even
A proper balanced amount is good.
matcha Pokemon now. Why is everyone obsessed with this lean, green, money-making machine? That's what I'm gonna find out today. Despite how big it is, and I mean big, like 15 billion views on TikTok big, first let's clarify what matcha actually is. Because most people still think it's just green tea. And while it comes from the same plant, Camellia sinensis, it's made through a completely different and way more intense process. See, green tea leaves are harvested, steamed within 24 hours to prevent oxidation, rolled, dried, and then steeped in water like your average tea bag. Matcha, on the other hand, skips the bag entirely. After steaming, the leaves are destemmed and deveined, then stone ground into an ultra-fine powder called tencha. And that powder, that's what you're drinking. Not a steeped extract, not a flavored infusion, the actual leaf. Pulverized and whisked into hot water. You're consuming the whole thing. Real matcha, the diva, also requires that it be grown under partial shade of a cover, about 2 to 3 weeks before harvesting. This protects an amino acid within the leaves known as theanine. It also increases the number of chloroplasts within the plant to compensate for the reduced light while it's shaded. Now, if you think back to your high school science class, you might remember that a chloroplast is the special part within the plant where photosynthesis takes place. So this actually factors into matcha's bright green color. And yet there's a ton of fake matcha out there. Stuff made from unshaded leaves, often called fun matcha. This fake matcha is cheaper to produce, duller in color, and completely lacking in theanine. It's used for coloring and flavoring and all of the matcha flavored things flooding store shelves. Matcha Kit Kats, matcha muffins, that green frappuccino from the drive-thru. Yeah, odds are you're not getting the real deal. Just the color, and maybe a whisper of bitter green tea taste. And even though matcha is everywhere, that doesn't mean you can be everywhere you need all the time. And sometimes that makes doing groceries or planning your meals next to impossible. If this sounds like something you struggle with, then let me tell you about our sponsor for today's episode, Hungryroot. Hungryroot takes the stress out of grocery shopping and meal planning by tailoring to your tastes and shipping a week of meals that you're guaranteed to love. It doesn't matter if you're gluten-free or trying to up your protein intake like I am right now. Hungryroot caters your menu to whatever your goals may be and makes it easy to stay on track. My favorite thing about it is that it includes snacks. I'm someone that doesn't just eat 3 square meals a day. I gotta have small snacks to munch on throughout the day, and Hungryroot even has that covered. The best part is I don't even have to worry about what I'm shoveling into my mouth because they use quality ingredients like hormone and antibiotic-free meat and seafood and organic produce. So if you want to keep your mind at ease and your stomach full like me, for a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Click the link below or use the QR code on screen now with our code FOOD. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life at hungryroot.com with our code FOOD. Now let's get back to matcha. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to me.
Thank you so much for supporting this episode from the food theorists. Thank you so much.
most of you, but matcha has been around for centuries. And it's nearly exclusively grown in Japan, where it plays a central role in what are called Japanese tea ceremonies. But fun fact, while most people do connect matcha to Japan, it actually originated in China. But in the 1300s, the emperor banned compressed tea. This was to reduce the resources required in the tea's manufacturing process, but some historians also believe that the emperor's lower class roots made him view matcha as a hoity-toity bougie thing. Which brings us to now. Why is matcha blowing up in the modern West?
I actually went and interviewed some business owners here in Miami that are selling matcha in their stores to find out why they decided to jump on the train and why they think customers can't keep their hands off of it.
We have two wonderful business owners here.
Hi, my name's Allegra.
Hi, my name is Marcella, and we just opened up Barista Babes.
So why do you think it's gotten so popular?
Aesthetically, it's beautiful looking. There's a lot of health benefits.
It has many antioxidants. It's better than coffee in the sense that you don't crash like coffee.
My new friends here had a point. In the late 2010s, matcha hit the radar as a so-called superfood, rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. But more importantly, it offered a unique caffeine experience. Because you're drinking the entire leaf, matcha has more caffeine than regular green tea, but still less than coffee. And thanks to the L-theanine, that caffeine is absorbed more slowly and steadily into the body. The result? A calm, sustained energy boost without the jitters of the crash. Basically, it's coffee's smarter, more chill cousin, the one who reads self-help books and actually follows through on their goals. We're drinking what we want to be, basically. Things really took off during the pandemic. Wellness content on social media exploded. People were stuck at home getting into skincare, yoga, and alternative lattes. Matcha was the perfect storm. It looked good, it felt good, and like the Barista Babes pointed out, their name, not mine, it photographed well. That neon green hue wasn't just healthy, it was algorithm friendly. At a
Click blade friendly. You know, game theorists, the green color logo, the green color words, it helps with the YouTube algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, the TikTok algorithm. It helps.
A sprinkle of influencer marketing and a touch of aspirational lifestyle branding, and suddenly matcha was it. A drink, a vibe, a status symbol. But with great trendiness comes great dilution. Matcha didn't stay
With great power comes great responsibility.
matcha for long.
Which leads us to our first problem. We're making matcha unhealthy. As matcha became a star on TikTok, it also found itself in the center of TikTok's drink mixing trends. This led to matcha moving away from being a solo star and suddenly being mixed in with a supporting band of sugary syrups. These high sugar drinks can lead to sugar crashes, which actually cancels out the benefits that matcha had in the first place. Take a look at this matcha drink from Starbucks. It's primarily sugar, not matcha. Because matcha is often used as a matcha replacement, plenty of matcha items don't even benefit from the theanine.
So now you've got matcha drinks that spike your blood sugar and give you zero benefits.
But the second problem is the real one, because matcha is becoming too popular. Matcha, by its very nature, is hard to mass produce. First of all, matcha is mostly only grown in Japan, and it only has 2 harvest seasons, with the first being the highest quality matcha of the year, and both only lasting 1 month each. When harvesting the leaves of the tea plant, matcha farmers will only pick the 2 youngest leaves and the tips of the plant as the parts with the best and most consistent quality.
And the thing is, demand just keeps rising. In 2024, matcha hit a global supply crunch. Prices surged and stores started running low. Meanwhile, influencers are out here doing matcha hauls like they're stocking a bunker, with more than they could possibly use before it expires. See, the problem is, matcha doesn't last forever. Once opened, it starts degrading after just 90 days. Unopened, you've got maybe 2 years, which means most of those matcha mountains are going stale before they're even used.
Problems and points, regardless if it's a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a couple of years, it is inevitable that this is a perishable item. You can't just haul like tons and tons of it. It's not. For the average typical individual, it's just not a wise thing to do.
Number 1 and 2 come together when you consider that a fair amount of high quality matcha that's purchased in the West is used for sugary drinks that undercut its flavor and health benefits. Using a different ingredient would actually give you the same sugary buzz without adding to this shortage. But because it's nice, green, and eye-catching for their TikTok reels, influencers have been using the high quality stuff for their sugary drinks.
So we've got a limited, labor-intensive crop being overhyped and overused, often in ways that defeat its entire purpose. We're buying up ceremonial-grade matcha and drowning it in caramel sauce. We're flexing $30 tins of powder and forgetting it expires in 3 months. We're obsessed with the image of wellness, but not really practicing what we preach or post.
So where does that leave us for now? Matcha is still around and as popular as ever, but harvesters are having a hard time keeping up with demand, especially because here in the West, attention is more important than preservation. So while the demand for matcha is rising with it being used left and right, the supply is depleting. Now, that doesn't mean go out and hoard matcha because there won't be any left. Please, I cannot stress this enough, do not do that. But it does mean we have to look towards the future. I asked a lot of business owners that are selling matcha drinks right now what they think the next trend is, and a lot of them had the same opinion.
I'm here in front of Brewing Buddha here in Miami. Please introduce yourself for all the viewers.
My name is Cassidy, and I own Brewing Buddha Cafe and Art House.
Quick question, why did you start putting matcha on the menu?
So matcha's been on the menu since day one. We always knew that our tea lovers needed something. If they didn't want the traditional black tea or green tea, that matcha is a step above caffeine-wise and health-wise as well.
What do you think after matcha is something you're keeping your eye on?
I think wild coffee flavors. Probably one of our most popular ones is the cookie butter latte, but I think people want just different.
Right, the exotic flavors.
I think that's where it's headed.
What do you think is the next big wave after matcha?
What they're doing now is they're actually putting espresso in the matcha. It's kind of a double caffeine kick there, and people are starting to put tonic in the matcha too. Coconut water, they're using a water-based. Yeah, so that's a good question.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone wants to know, right?
know.
So yeah, the foundational things for the next trend seem to be that it's gotta have a caffeine kick, it's gotta be healthy, it's gotta be exotic and eye-catching. The caffeine experience of matcha is a big draw for people who are trying to move away from their daily morning coffee. Less overall caffeine content, less jitters, and no crash. Plus, you have the benefits of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects. The exotic trait is important, especially for business owners, because people want something they don't feel they can get easily, or that they didn't necessarily see in their day-to-day lives before. And it needs to be eye-catching because we live in the era of social media, folks. What can I tell you? Can't enjoy a drink without making sure it can get us a few likes. But luckily, there's some alternatives out there that are rising in popularity. Hojicha is one that's caught some serious attention recently. It's another rich, complex flavor from Japan. It may not have the color, but the versatility it has of going in lattes or desserts or anything, really, is pretty much only matched by matcha. And it makes sense. They both come from the same plant. But unlike the super strict harvesting process of matcha, hojicha is a lot less intensive and can use older leaves, stems, and twigs, which bring the price down. Unfortunately, where it does fall short is the caffeine content. It typically only has about 7 to 20 milligrams of caffeine per cup, where matcha will be around 30 to 70 grams. That's why hojicha was originally used as an after-dinner digestif and as a way to unwind. You don't want a lot of caffeine right before you go to sleep. So while it may be healthy and exotic, it doesn't tick all of our boxes. And for this next potential trend, if I could take off my objective cap here for a second and let my bias shine through in my theorizing, one contender may come from none other than Argentina. I know,
Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah, what a surprise.
I know, but hear me out. Yerba mate, the national drink of Argentina, has been slowly gaining popularity and is starting to see more use in energy drinks and canned drinks as a star ingredient. And listen, it's not just me or Messi or any other Argentinian bastions of good looks. Even actors and musicians from the US are starting to catch on to the trendiness of the drink. She may sing about espresso, but Sabrina Carpenter admitted she's got an obsession with yerba mate.
I have a very terrible obsession with yerba mate. It's an Argentinian tea.
Come on, Sabrina. Where's Mate's hot summer single? Huh? Things rhyme with mate, probably. The health benefits are similar to matcha's, and a caffeine content that'll definitely wake you up at 70 to 150 milligrams per typical serving. But more importantly, it hits your body in a similar way, meaning a nice slow ramp up and no crash or jitters. But it's not all good news for my contender. See, yerba mate is not technically a tea, but rather an herbal infusion, and the preparation isn't the easiest thing, especially for stores to sell to customers. And while you can drink it out of beautiful gourds, the drink itself isn't as eye-catching or relatively easy to prepare as matcha. And as my coworkers found out when I force-fed it to them, it's an acquired taste.
It tastes like alcohol. You drink this? This is awful.
It's like an oval in the back of my throat, really. It feels like a different temperature than what I'd expect. Like, yes, this is a hot drink. The feel morphs in the back. It becomes geometric.
It tastes like smoke.
That's wild. I don't dislike it though.
I would never drink this. And we'll probably never drink this again.
I feel embarrassed to call this tea, I'll be honest.
Alright, so hello everyone. There is game theory, film theory, food theory, style theory, GT Live, Tom, Lee, Sanji, Amy, Ash. Hello. Hello.
Really seems to be no beating matcha, which is why we've run it into the ground. It's because matcha ticks so many boxes. It's something so versatile that it can be put in drinks, skincare products, hair care products, Pokemon, and pretty much anything you can think of. It's not just one trend, it's multiple all at once. More than anything, it's really just a symbol in a way. I joked about it earlier in the episode, but matcha really is us drinking who we want to be. It's reflective of where society is right now, wanting to go back to simple, natural ingredients, healthy ingredients that also happen to give us the energy we need to make it through exhausting days and exhausting times, even if some of us are loading it up with sugar or not even using real matcha. It makes us feel like we're making good decisions, like clicking the subscribe button right now, and it makes us want to share it with others. That's why, even though there are—
Oh my god, Santi, you are clever. You are just you insert the subscribe into. That's awesome. It just naturally flows out. It's like, hey, subscribe, thank you.
arguably healthier,
Okay, I'll take a look.
real matcha. It makes us feel like we're making good decisions, like clicking the subscribe button right now, and it makes us want to share it with others. That's why, even though there are arguably healthier or for some people tastier options, matcha still reigns supreme and is here to stay, unlike other trends. It puts people in a better mindset just by virtue of taking a sip and snapping a picture of the mean green money-making machine. So maybe the best alternative to matcha is actually matcha. Like I mentioned, Japan can't keep up. But just like we're trying to go back to our natural beginnings, so might matcha. Thanks to the demand, China is upping production and is on track to become the #1 producer of matcha in the world. There's a lot of debate whether it stacks up to the quality of Japanese matcha, but regardless, this year, the total production will exceed 5,000 tons, and a quarter of that is coming from a specific province, Guizhou. It used to specialize in other forms of tea, but around 10 years ago, in 2015, it started to pivot and focus more exclusively on matcha. The climate
2015 was a decade ago. 10 years ago. 10年前在贵州
in this particular province is ideal for tea growing, and matcha is no exception here. But 10 years is still too little time to get the quality that's been cultivated.
Fun fact, do you know the word 贵州, right? If I'm not wrong, 贵 means expensive, 州 means province. I hope I'm not wrong. I am Chinese. 我是华人，我是新加坡华人。
Cultivated for centuries in Japan, for now. And while some may be able to tell, for those that just want matcha for the color and to mix it into sugary drinks, a lower quality may not be a deal breaker anyway. While the world stays fixated on matcha, Japanese production will most likely keep struggling to keep up and eventually might buckle altogether. And over the next few years, don't be surprised if you start seeing less and less matcha from Japan and more coming from China. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Buen provecho.
And hey, if you like this and want to see more, make sure to click the link on the screen now. And as always, I'll see you next week.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this episode from the food theorists. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Buen provecho. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed, subscribe. Bye bye. Thank you.